In the heart of winter's merciless grasp, when the night seems to swallow hope whole, a single spark of compassion ignites the darkness. In this unforgiving city, three lost souls are destined to find each other and rediscover the true meaning of home. The cold wind whispers secrets through desolate streets where forgotten souls wander. In a city frozen by despair and indifferent fate, I tell the story of a man whose eyes carry the sorrow of countless winters, a stray dog whose heart endures despite relentless hunger, and a tiny abandoned child whose fragile existence clings to a thread of hope. There is a man who, despite a past riddled with anguish and betrayal, trudges through the bitter night with the remnants of a once bright spirit. Each step he takes is a silent testament to survival amid urban ruin, where every gust of icy wind is a reminder of dreams deferred. Across the unforgiving concrete labyrinth roams a stray dog, its coat battered by the elements and its soul scarred by abandonment. Once embraced in the warmth of love and home, the dog now navigates the merciless alleys alone. Though hunger gnaws at its insides and loneliness lingers like an unyielding shadow, within its weary chest beats a fierce protective instinct, a spark of loyalty that refuses to be extinguished. Unbeknownst to these two solitary wanderers, fate had already begun weaving their destinies together. In the vast frostbitten expanse of the urban wilderness, an unspoken promise stirred, hinting at a union forged in the crucible of despair and tempered by a love that transcends boundaries. The chill of the night could not dim the glimmer of hope that flickered within their hearts, a promise that every lost soul might yet find redemption. I recount this tale not as a fable of easy triumph, but as a raw chronicle of survival and compassion, a narrative that unfolds in the silent spaces between heartbeats, where even the most fractured lives can find solace in one another. The city, with its broken dreams and frost-laden pavements, is a stage where despair and hope dance in a delicate balance. It is here, amid the bitter winds and the stark isolation, that our story begins. On one bleak and unyielding night, when the city's frozen breath seemed to mute even the faintest echoes of life, the stray dog's wandering paws led it down a narrow, forgotten alley. Amidst the refuse and the remnants of a world long past, a tiny, almost imperceptible movement stirred in the silence. Drawn by an instinct older than fear itself, the dog paused and listened as the sound of a heartbeat too faint to be ignored, reverberated through the stillness. There, nestled in the harsh shadows of a cold, desolate corner, lay a baby, abandoned and shivering on a slab of cold concrete. Wrapped in a tattered piece of cloth, the infant's eyes were closed in a fragile slumber, its life hanging by a fragile thread. Though the world around it was engulfed in a relentless winter, the baby's quiet presence exuded a warmth that defied the bitter chill. The stray dog, whose own life had been a constant struggle for survival, felt an inexplicable pull towards the helpless infant. In that moment, past and pain melted away, replaced by an overwhelming surge of compassion. With a tenderness that belied its rough exterior, the dog circled the baby, its soft, cautious nuzzles speaking of a promise to protect this vulnerable life. Hunger and isolation were momentarily forgotten as an unspoken bond began to weave itself between the two. The city's icy silence was broken by this act of quiet heroism. In the face of a merciless world, the stray dog's instinct to nurture and shield the tiny life from the biting cold became a beacon of hope, a silent defiance against the darkness that threatened to overwhelm all that was tender. There, in the heart of a forsaken alley, a single act of compassion sparked a chain reaction destined to change all their lives forever. As the dog pressed closer to the baby, its own body a makeshift refuge against the relentless chill, a fragile sanctuary was born. Every shiver, every soft murmur of life whispered of a future where bonds could mend even the deepest of wounds. In that small, hidden space, the dog and the baby began to share a warmth that was more profound than the absence of cold, a warmth born from the deepest reserves of compassion. It was in the midst of this silent symphony of survival that a lone figure emerged from the swirling mists of memory and regret. The homeless man, whose existence had been marked by endless nights and the ghosts of lost love, found himself inexplicably drawn to a soft, radiant glow amid the darkness. His heart, long battered by the harsh realities of life, sensed that destiny had laid a path toward redemption that night. Wandering through the labyrinth of frozen streets, the man's eyes, tired yet perceptive, fell upon the tender scene unfolding in a secluded corner of the city. There, illuminated by the gentle light of compassion, stood the stray dog cradling a fragile baby. The sight stirred something deep within him, a stirring of hope, of responsibility, and of the long-forgotten capacity to love without reserve. In that fleeting moment, every scar, every remnant of his haunted past receded into the background as a new purpose emerged with crystalline clarity. Without uttering a single word, the man approached the duo, each step measured and filled with the weight of his own burdens. His hands, roughened by years of hardship, trembled as they reached out in quiet determination. In the silent communion of shared suffering and emerging hope, the man recognized that his destiny was intertwined with these two lost souls. The stray dog, alert yet reassured by his gentle presence, remained close as if to guide him into a new chapter of possibility. In that delicate exchange, the man embraced the unspoken plea for salvation. With the baby nestled safely against the protective warmth of the dog, he gathered the child into his arms, his heart swelling with a fierce tenderness that defied the cold and the cruelty of the urban night. Every step he took was a deliberate act of defiance against a world that had long abandoned its vulnerable, a quiet testament to the transformative power of compassion. The city, with its frost-laden pavements and echoing emptiness, seemed to pause in reverence to this simple yet profound act. In the convergence of three disparate lives, the haunted man, the loyal dog, and the forsaken baby, a new narrative was taking shape. One built not on the foundations of despair, but on the resilient promise of hope. As the man cradled the child, he felt the stirring of long-suppressed dreams, and in that fragile moment, the promise of a second chance shone brighter than the harsh neon of the unforgiving night. Determination and tenderness fused as the trio moved as one through the icy corridors of the city. Each heartbeat resonated with the silent vow to reclaim their lost dignity, to rise above the overwhelming despair, and to forge a future built on shared strength and boundless love. In that singular, life-affirming gesture, the man chose not just to save a life, but to reclaim his own, finding solace in the knowledge that even the most broken hearts can find healing when they dare to love again. Dawn crept slowly over the horizon, its gentle light dissolving the remnants of night's bitter cold. In the quiet aftermath of an eventful night, the city seemed to exhale, a soft collective sigh as if nature itself acknowledged the beauty of a new beginning. The homeless man, the stray dog, and the abandoned baby had emerged from the darkness, forever bound by a shared journey of survival and renewal. In the days that followed, the man dedicated himself to nurturing the fragile life that had been entrusted to him. Every day, as the chill of winter gradually gave way to the tentative warmth of spring, he sought to mend not only the physical wounds of the past, but also the invisible scars etched deep within his soul. The baby, whose eyes now sparkled with the innocence of rediscovered life, became a living reminder that hope could be reborn from the coldest of circumstances. The stray dog, once a wanderer condemned to solitude, found its true purpose in guarding and comforting the fragile family it had inadvertently created. Its loyalty was unwavering, its protective presence a constant shield against the lingering shadows of despair. The dog's silent companionship spoke volumes, a language of love and sacrifice that transcended words and bridged the gap between despair and hope. As time unfolded like a slow, deliberate melody, the city began to transform in subtle yet profound ways. The hardened sidewalks and neglected alleys, once symbols of isolation and neglect, now bore the imprints of gentle footsteps and tender embraces. In the hearts of those who had once been swallowed by the cold, a quiet revolution was taking place. A steady revolution fueled not by grand gestures, but by the simple, enduring power of kindness. The man whose past had been defined by loss and regret slowly discovered that healing often begins with a single act of compassion. With every sunrise, he learned that the smallest spark of care could ignite a blaze of transformation, illuminating even the darkest corners of the soul. In caring for the child and sharing a quiet bond with the steadfast dog, he found redemption, his once broken heart mending with each loving moment. In the laughter of the child, in the soft, contented sighs of the dog, and in the gentle, persevering heartbeat of the man, the city found a new narrative. One where every life, no matter how scarred or abandoned, held the promise of rebirth. Their intertwined journeys became a living testament to the truth that even in a world stripped bare by cruelty and neglect, love could flourish and heal the deepest wounds. And so, as the seasons turned and the frost of winter melted into the tender embrace of spring, the homeless man, the stray dog, and the once abandoned baby continued their journey together. Their bond was a quiet, enduring anthem to the resilience of the human spirit and the transformative power of compassion. It was a reminder that in the harshest of environments, when all seems lost, a single act of kindness can alter the course of destiny. In the soft glow of a rising sun, as the city awakened to a world reborn, the trio, united by fate and sustained by hope, stepped forward into a future where every day promised the chance for healing and renewal. Their story, etched in the annals of a forgotten urban landscape, would forever stand as a beacon of light, urging us all never to abandon those who cry out for love in the cold, indifferent night. Let this tale serve as a reminder that even amidst the relentless shadows of our modern world, compassion remains the greatest force of all. For in the most unexpected unions, between a broken man, a loyal stray, and an abandoned child, the true magic of life is revealed. And so, with hearts entwined and burdens shared, they embraced a new dawn, where every step forward was a triumph over despair, and every act of kindness was a defiant stand against the cold. As the city slowly shed its veil of sorrow and darkness, its residents began to see beyond the superficial frost of a wintry night. They witnessed in the quiet persistence of love the birth of a community bound not by circumstance, but by a shared belief in the redemptive power of hope. In the gentle smiles of strangers, in the subtle gestures of care, the legacy of that fateful night lived on, an eternal testament to the truth that even the smallest light can dispel the deepest darkness. Thus, the journey of the man, the dog, and the child became more than just a chronicle of survival. It evolved into a sacred narrative of love rediscovered, of lives interwoven by fate and nurtured by the unyielding warmth of compassion. With every whispered promise of tomorrow, they defied the harsh dictates of an uncaring world, proving that, even in the coldest winter, the human spirit can ignite a flame that burns with the brilliance of 1,000 suns. And so, in the quiet, resilient cadence of their shared existence, the three unlikely companions journeyed onward. Their footsteps resonated like a hymn of hope through the empty corridors of a city once forsaken, a hymn that would forever remind us that love, in its purest form, can transform even the bleakest winter into a canvas of endless possibilities. May this story be a guide to every lost soul wandering through the storms of life, a testament that when we dare to reach out with kindness, we not only mend the fractures in our own hearts, but also kindle a light that has the power to warm the world. For in each act of compassion, there lies the promise of renewal, a promise that no matter how dark the night, a new dawn awaits, ready to embrace us all in its tender, life-affirming glow.